Welcome to the Diva Life Show, where music meets fashion, culture meets travel, and we explore the stories of extraordinary artists and entrepreneurs. Hi, and welcome to the Diva Life Show. I'm your host and resident diva, Heather Poduska. Today, we continue our international tour of the Diva Life Show in Prague in the Czech Republic. And I have such a fun and special guest for you today, Lucie Mišková. Lucie is a global champagne ambassador, and we talk about how to live a life in bubbles. It was so much fun talking to her, and the way that Lucie and I met was actually through a manifestation program, and we were accountability partners. And it was just this wonderful manifestation that it worked out that we met again in Prague in real life instead of just on Zoom. And it was so much fun to learn about what is a global champagne ambassador. And we talked about how to find the right champagne for you. And then we also talked about what does it mean to manifest, and how did Lucie manifest her wonderful life and all the amazing things that are happening for her. It's such a fun interview. And again, we were in Prague, and I hope to do more of these international shows because I really believe in the power of travel and culture and expanding our world view. So I hope you enjoy this episode of The Diva Life, and let's get to it. Welcome to the Diva Life Show, where music meets fashion, culture meets travel, and we explore the stories of extraordinary artists and entrepreneurs. I have a very special guest here today in Prague, in the Czech Republic, Lucie Mišková, who is a global brand ambassador for champagne. How fun and exciting is that? We're going to be speaking today about the education of champagne and fine wines around the globe and all things beauty, fashion, travel, culture, right online, right on brand for the Diva Life Show. So let's get to it. Hello, welcome, Lucie.
Hi, Heather. Thank you for having me here. It's such an honor and dream come true, because I must admit that this has been my dream since years, to have such a beautiful interview touching all the beautiful things in life which make our lives more brighter.
Yes, I'm so excited. And we're going to talk about how we know each other, because I think that people watching this who know me are going to be like, how did you meet such fabulous people? So we're going to talk about that. But before we get started, you look absolutely divine. So tell us about what you're wearing.
Oh, thank you for asking. I am so lucky that I have in my life wonderful people as my friend Štěpánka Pivcová. And she's dressing, meanwhile, the presidential couple. So I went to see her yesterday, and I was like, Štěpánka, you need to borrow me something from your wardrobe. And this is the result. So I hope it's the most shiniest diva outfit, and I feel so beautiful in it.
Well, you definitely nailed Diva, and she is a beautiful designer to make these beautiful clothes, so it's amazing.
It's so nice to have you here in Prague, and it's incredible. I can't believe this is happening.
Yeah, I can believe it, because what is it? Usted? How do you say destiny?
Osud.
Osud. This is Osud. This was meant to be. This was a manifestation of your dream, that you've always wanted to have some kind of a beautiful interview about being a global champagne ambassador. So there you go. It happened. It was meant to be. So I'm so excited to have you here. And for most people, I didn't know before I met you that there was such a thing as a champagne ambassador. So what is a champagne ambassador? What is it that you do?
Basically, I would describe it simple. Like I live champagne. My life is champagne, and champagne is in my veins. What I do is I introduce to people the world of champagne, not only educating them about how it's produced and all these technical things, but also how to enjoy it, how to elevate your life, how to sparkle up your days with the champagne, and which brands is interesting to try and which are less known, which are more known. So it's the entire thing about the world of champagne and all the, I call it lifestyle that it brings.
So tell us, what is the champagne lifestyle?
The champagne lifestyle is everything that brings sparkles to your eyes and your soul. And this with champagne, it starts in your mouth. What I say is, no day is bad if you started with a glass of champagne.
Wow. Okay, we're going to start the day with champagne. So tell us, because how did you become so knowledgeable about it? Did you go to school for learning about champagne? How did you get this expert information?
Oh, my life journey wasn't so straight as in many people's life. They can relate to this, that the decision wasn't clear at the beginning. So I studied University of Economics, and I finished with the so-called engineer degree, which we have here in Czech Republic. But then I realized that the paperwork and the idea that I wanted to become an auditor wasn't correct, because I actually never knew what my life purpose was. But surprise, my grandfather, he was a wine grower.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Well, we were driving. We drove from Germany here, and we passed a lot of vineyards, and we were surprised to see so many vineyards in the Czech Republic.
Yes, it's a quite big production from my point of view.
Yeah.
And the history of wine growing in Czech Republic is strong. And as I said, even my grandfather, he was doing like house wine just for himself and one uncle. But I was exposed to taste and to work in the vineyard and to do everything about the wines since a little child. So somehow there the seed was planted.
Yes. Yeah.
So then the story goes on. After the university, I tried to work in different companies connected with accounting and blah, 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 to make the story short. And then I was like, I just do the sommelier course here in Prague just for fun. And then I found out one day, I will never forget it. It was in the year 2008. Having a beautiful dinner with my former boyfriend, and we were drinking wine Gala Sauvignon from the year 2007. And this was the point when I noticed, like, oh, okay, I connect smell, taste with occasion and the person I drink the wine with.
Wow.
So then I thought, like, wow, this must be my superpower. So then I decided that day I want to be a sommelier.
Wow. That's amazing. And, I've talked about this in a lot of the shows that I've done with people that I've interviewed about following this golden thread through your life.
Yes.
And it sounds like you did that. Like it was in your blood, that champagne was in your blood and in your history, and you listened to. So how do you think that you were able to tap into the feeling of knowing, to know that that was your path?
It was exactly in that point which I just nailed, because I somehow knew, like, this is it, that's my superpower, which I want to grow, which I want to learn and involve. And also when I started to study this first certificate, I have a little bit more than one, it was full of passion. I loved it. I loved the studies. I loved to educate myself, the wine, taste them, smell them, and go into nitty-gritty details of the smell, aroma, taste, and everything. So I knew it was lighting me up.
Okay, Lucie, so you are the expert, but not everybody is as expert as you are about champagne and fine wine. So if somebody was starting their journey about wanting to know more about champagne or the best ones, or how to drink it the best way, what are the basics about approaching drinking champagne?
Well, basically, from my position where I'm right now, I'm a little bit more spoiled about the quality of champagne that I choose for myself and my clients and my friends. But basically, just go into it and open your first bottle. I know there are certain brands which are largely known, and the quality might be a little bit lower, but still, it's a door which is inviting you to the world of champagne. If you're open to discover the world of bubbles, why don't you open a bottle of Veuve Clicquot? Why don't you open a bottle of the Tanger? You know, these are very easy to enjoy, price-wise very approachable, and it's already in the right place where you can start building up your appetite when it comes to champagne, because it never ends. You start at the bottom and then it just grows and opens up, and the spectrum of the champagnes that you can discover in your life is limitless.
I love the world of bubbles. I need to live in a world of bubbles. That's so awesome. So Tanger
Veuve Clicquot.
Veuve Clicquot. So those are sort of approachable.
Yes.
What is the difference between that level and a higher level? What makes something more high level champagne?
It is the body, and it is what the expression that it gives you. You know, these entry level wines, they are easily drinkable with fruity notes, with lemon notes, with the brioche and all these things that you expect from champagne. But when you go into the prestige cuvées or even vintages and so, you discover not only the primary and secondary notes, but also tertiary. Oh. And then it goes to nutty flavors, honey flavors.
Oh, wow.
And even the bodies, the layers, they start to be structured. So while you drink the champagne, which is on the higher level, it's like a symphony. It's opening up. It's not just one note that you could point, but after a while, you notice more and more different layers, different fruits, different flavors. And that's the beauty of discovering the world of champagne, because it's super colorful.
Oh, I love that. And as you have these different notes of honey and nutty, are there do certain champagnes go with certain foods?
Oh, definitely. The pairing, the point is a champagne is well paired with anything.
Okay, sure. But are there some that are more suitable for like red meat, white meat, savory, sweet?
What I would like to say is, like, it's unusual to pair champagne with red meats, but if you want to, then go for Pinot Noir, Blanc de Noir, because what it is, it's made from Pinot Noir and Meunier, and Pinot Noir as a wine goes really well with the red meats. So then this would be the lead how I would choose my champagne to red meat, for example.
Okay. And what about, is it better to have a wide-bodied glass or a flute? What's the best glass?
Oh, nowadays everybody would cut my hands if I take a flute.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it's a more like the wider bodied glasses, because we want the champagne to breathe and to get some air so that it can open up and reveal its potential.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that, because I'll have to rethink my glass game on that.
Yes, but the fashion of the glasses is changing through the centuries. I still love to remember the times when the glass in the shape of coupe was described as from Madame Pompadour's breast. So even those were very fashionable. Sometimes people use them because of their beauty, but of course for serving and letting the champagne open up its potential, you use the wider bodied glasses. But for aperitifs and for easy drinking, even if you use the flute, it's not a mistake.
Okay, good. Never a mistake with champagne.
Nah.
So we've known each other a little while, and since we've known each other, you were invited to France, and you were one of very few people in the world that were invited to the champagne. Was it a champagne conference? What was it where you were the brand ambassador for the Czech Republic?
Oh, I was invited to participate at pre-harvest testing at Champagne Salon.
Yeah, and that was a big deal, right?
Wow, I'm impressed that you've done your studies here. And that was a really huge thing, because Champagne Salon is not only in my heart, but it's a jewel amongst the champagnes. And in my eyes, it's the best I've ever tasted. It's the most beautiful musical. It's more than a symphony. It's a huge concert of. I love to compare these more complex champagnes to music, because it's the layers that you find in. And so this was it's really a jewel amongst champagnes. It's like a Formula One. To explain easily. And I was so lucky that I was invited as an influencer and also as the ambassador of Salon back then in Czech Republic to this pre-harvest testing. We were in total 10 people from all of the world, and I will never forget this beautiful gift that I got from them.
Yeah, that's amazing. So, and were you one of many women that were there? Were there very many women at that experience?
It was balanced.
It was balanced.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. So are there, in the champagne world, is it balanced with men and women, or is it more one or the other?
No, it's completely balanced, because even there are so many widows. There's a huge group and huge history of women in Champagne.
There was just a movie about Vive Clicquot, right?
Yes.
About her and about her journey as the founder and when she took over. Have you seen that movie?
No, I haven't.
No, I heard about that. So that's how I knew. I was like, oh, that sounds so familiar.
I know even personally few women like Delphine Casals and Isabelle from Dibol Valois, and these ladies. I love to I love to drink their champagne because I know it's coming from them being in the leadership of the house, and I still somehow feel the feminine part in the champagne.
Well, I don't know. Champagne does feel, I mean, men and women can both drink it, but it feels sort of, feminine with the bubbles, and I love that. I love that. And you are growing your brand as a global champagne ambassador. What is the vision for your brand as you move forward with your business?
Well, my dream is I would like to present the brands that my heart truly beats for. There's more than 4,000 different labels of champagne, and I would like to help a little bit my fans or my friends and people who follow me to have an easier way to choose their champagne.
Yeah. People need help with that.
Yes.
And can you explain the difference between champagne and just regular sparkling wine?
Oh, yeah, of course. The difference is mostly in the method of producing. While champagne is produced by method champenois, it must also be only produced in Champagne, France, which is unique for the subsoil, which is chalk and clay. Chalk and limestone, and there's a special subsoil Kimmeridgian and Portlandian, which is irreplaceable. Of course, you can find it somewhere else in the world, but the climate is irreplaceable, and you cannot copy it anywhere in the world. That's why Champagne is so unique.
Because of the soil.
Yeah, and it's the secondary fermentation in the bottle which makes Champagne the champagne.
Okay. So we drove on our trip here, we drove from Germany to Prague, beautiful city of Prague, and we noticed some of the vineyards, but there was a lot of construction, and I said to my husband, the ground here, the earth here is red. So much of the soil it looks more red than dark brown, and there are parts of the United States where the ground and the earth is almost black. It's like very dark dirt, but here it's red. Does that have an influence on the grapes in the Czech Republic too?
Oh, it definitely does, because the soil makes a major influence on the quality of the wine and also on the taste of the result. There are so many little things in the winemaking process which change the end result, but the soil and the climate is the majority, and of course the work of the enologist.
Yeah.
Not to forget.
Oh, so what's that? Explain what that means, the enologist.
Well, as far as I know, there are multiple ways how to produce wine, either using barrels, not using barrels. But what is quite essential, what I learned in my personal journey, is the yeast. That you use.
Okay.
This is a funny story because I learned that at my friend's winery in South Moravia, where I come from, that different types of yeast, which are also thousands of types, gives the end result wine a different little taste.
That's so interesting.
There is yeast which is described as kiwi, and it actually gives the wine a little kiwi touch.
Oh, that's so interesting. And then the analyst is the one that determines that?
Excuse me?
The person, there's someone that determines the yeast?
It's the winemaker, the enologist.
The enologist,
the cellar master.
Yeah, I love that. Well, this is so amazing that your knowledge about this is incredible, and I can see how much passion that you have about it. And that's one of the things that, we met 2 years ago.
We
3
met
years ago.
We met March 2023.
Oh my gosh, you know the date and
month.
Yeah, the month. Oh my gosh! And tell everybody how we met. How did we meet?
Oh my God. Okay, so back then I was not in my happiest place, mentally or in the spot in life. So I signed up for Manifestation Babe.
Yes. So did I. I was like, okay, let's try this manifestation course out and see what this means.
Yeah, and I just I had this urge to sign in and the calling, and even though the price back then I couldn't actually, it wasn't capable for me to pay the price because it was pretty pretty premium.
Yeah.
Anyways, I couldn't just say no, and I signed for it there, and that's when we started to be in contact because we were accountability partners.
That's right. We were accountability manifestation partners, which I just think is so cool. And, you know, I said, oh, who is this person? She's a champagne ambassador. This just sounds so cool. And then we kept in touch, and I was like, okay, I think I want to interview Lucie and some other people from Prague, and it was so cool. I was like, let's make this happen. And here we are. It feels like, what was the word that you said at the beginning?
Osud.
Osud. It's Osud. It was like predetermined that we were going to be here.
This is because I would never feel so relaxed being on the first interview of my life, but it feels like, I feel like this is it. It's meant to be.
It's meant to be. So what would you say to somebody who's skeptical about manifestation or about destiny or about things coming together in a perfect way?
It 100%, 1,000,000% works, and it's worth all the investment, all the time, because back then it was my priority, and I was really, really working on the manifesting my dreams, my visions, like 100%. All the time after work or besides anything else, I was just doing the manifestation back then, and it was really worth it. And it works to rewire your brain, your thoughts, and to write down your dreams. And just check the steps how to get there, but not to think too much how it's going to happen, not to think at all how it's going to happen.
So the big step is to have the dream.
Yes.
And then how it's going to happen, you just keep the dream front and center.
Yeah, and you have to do the inspired action. When you feel like I did back then, that I need to sign up for it, because even though I didn't have the money and I didn't know how I'm going to pay it, that's the thing.
It was trust.
Yeah, it's exactly when you're standing on the side of the pool and you're afraid to jump, just jump.
Just jump. I love that. And so what are some things that have happened that have changed in your life over the past 2 years that you're like, wow, that was a result of putting myself on this journey?
Everything.
Yeah.
Like everything.
Yeah.
You know, like back then I had like 3 major desires, and they all came true. Like I was manifesting a partner, I was manifesting a higher income, and I was manifesting, what was the third thing? You know, this is interesting because they all happened, and today I don't even realize.
Because now you're on to the next thing.
I'm on the next thing. I don't even realize, like, okay, actually, this is what I really wished for back then. So this is how beautiful it is, and it's not important what the third thing was, but they all came true. But the point is, one day, sometime in your life, just do the stop and check on the past, and check, like, do the revision.
Like, did this happen? Did what I want have happen?
And also journal, right? Because just recently I run into one of my really old journals from 2022 when I was desperate. I couldn't stop the smoking and blah blah. I was doing like different things which I didn't really. I wanted to correct, and I was like, I was just reading through the lines. I was like, oh, done, everything.
Well, you are an amazing woman, and one of the things that you did recently that is so impressive is that you ran the Prague Marathon. Oh my God. And talk about serendipity, osud, destiny. So we came to Prague on Saturday night. Sunday morning, we went for a little walk to explore the city, and we hear this noise, and we're like, oh, what's going on? Is there a concert? What's happening? And I said, John, let's go over here and look and see what's happening. And we turn the corner, and it's the marathon. So I said, let's go over and watch, and let's cheer the runners on. So we're like, go, 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 go. And we're clapping, clapping, clapping. And I hear my name. I hear, Heather, Heather. And I'm like, who's calling me? And it was you. And out of the thousands of runners and the thousands of spectators that we were at that point on the 26.2 mile track, that you were there and we were there at the exact same time, and that you saw us, is a miracle.
I can't even talk about it because talking about miracles, this is like far beyond.
Yeah.
And I was like running on, you know, like I was like, how in the heavens? anyone could describe this. How could I run into you in the thousands of people and everywhere around, and even me, like being in the process of running, usually I'm in my own world, but then I was like, I knew exactly where to look.
That's crazy. That's so wild. It was so amazing. So, I mean, aside from the manifestation part of it, training for a marathon is not easy, right? It takes dedication, discipline, commitment. And we run. We haven't run a marathon yet. I don't know if we ever will, but we run. What are some of the biggest lessons that you've learned from your running experience?
What a good question. Many people ask me because they say, of course, Lucie, you're crazy. And that's why I didn't tell anyone besides my really like 5 closest friends that actually I on Friday decided that I'm going to run the marathon on Sunday.
That's crazy. Well, you must have had some miles in there. You must have been training because you don't just...
Well, I was training for a half marathon, which was a month ago.
Okay.
That was exactly month ago. For that, I was training 3 times per week. But then, when the half marathon finished, I didn't do anything. I didn't move finger.
Wow.
For 1 month straight, and then I was like, okay, this time I'm just gonna run for fun, because before I had some target, like I want to run under 2 hours this half marathon, and actually I was quite in the pressure. And I didn't enjoy it much. And after I finished, the endorphin kick didn't come in.
Oh, okay.
I actually had really unpleasant feelings. I was like, this is wrong. Something is not right here. And that's why on Friday I was like, okay, I just bought a gig from somebody who couldn't attend. And I was like thinking, I'm just gonna run the half. Just enjoying it by having fun.
Yes.
So I correct my unpleasant feelings from the previous one, and then the rest, I leave it to the God, whatever.
Wow.
So, and what happened is, like, I really run in my own pace. I was like running, observing the architecture, looking at the faces of the other runners. And then I hit the 21. I was like, oh, I'm not even tired yet.
Wow.
Nice. So then I went on and I was thinking about the medal. Oh, the medal, it looked so beautiful. This one is so special. It was the anniversary, 30th anniversary of the Prague Marathon. I was like, I want this medal.
Yeah.
If I have to crawl there, I'm gonna get there.
Yeah.
So this is actually what pushed me through. I was not pushing myself at all. I was having fun the entire time, even though I was in crazy pain after the 36th, 7th kilometer. I was like thinking still about the medal, like and I was putting no pressure on myself, and it was the best experience of running experience in my entire life. And you know what made the game? What was the game changer? I knew I can, but I don't have to.
Oh, that's great.
Because I could have quit at any point, because the goal wasn't to finish the marathon. I was just like thinking like, this medal. I learned a huge lesson on this. First lesson is not telling your plans to anyone until it's done.
Oh, okay.
And then the other one would be actually 3, not putting pressure on yourself throughout the process, and 3rd, have fun.
Yes.
Meanwhile.
But I was just listening to, I think it was something on Instagram, and it was an older woman was talking to younger women saying, don't rush so much. You can enjoy the process. And I think that's such a diva attitude, right? Like a diva doesn't rush. A diva takes her time and enters the stage and makes people wait for her moment to come on. She takes the stage and takes the moment.
When you slow down, you're like the lioness. They don't rush.
Right.
Of course, they attack from time to time at the right time. But otherwise, they are safe. They are slow. They're like queen. They're really royal.
Yeah.
And you can feel it.
Yeah. And I can feel that coming from you. And the name of the show is the Diva Life Show. So I think you've already done it. But when you think of Diva, what comes to mind for you?
When it comes to Diva, it comes to a stable character. It doesn't mean that she never loses her temper or feelings. Of course, it's so natural to accept everything about yourself. And probably that would be the point, that the Diva is accepting her ups and her downs at the same time. But she keeps being confident, and she knows her target. She knows where her place is, and she never loses her. I can't find the exact word in English that I would like to use.
Say it in Czech.
Nestrácí svoji majestátnost.
The majesty.
Yes.
Majesty, I love it. Well, you embody all of those characters. Majesty, looking for your target, not losing your composure, and accepting that we all have ups and downs. And you display that so beautifully. And I love, love, love that you came on the show. Thank you so much.
Thank you. This has been, I was really waiting for this moment in my life, and it's so sparkling as I expected.
Yeah, just like you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Heather.
And thank you all for joining us. And as always, until next time, here's to hitting all your high notes. Take care. Bye-bye.